Very good. Welcome, everyone. It's Monday, March 28th, 2020. I'm sorry. It's Monday, April 11th. I pulled up the wrong agenda. Start over again. Welcome, everyone. It's Monday. And I printed the wrong agenda. Somebody give me an agenda. Okay, it's Monday, April 11th, 2022. Time for the regularly scheduled city council meeting. Ask the clerk to certify the meeting notice.
This meeting has been noticed in accordance with Idaho Code 74-204.
Thank you. Ask clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Heller,
Present.
Councilmember Jacobs,
Here.
Councilmember Jorgensen. Here.
If you'd stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item D, changes to the agenda. Seeing none, we'll move to the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
regarding the consent agenda, I would request that the minutes be amended to include specific actions regarding the approval of the, I believe it was SUB FY 2022-0002. Did I get that?
I can look that up really quick.
Oh, no, that is,
No, it's not.
yeah, it's the other one. Sorry, I apologize. At the last meeting, we approved the development with conditions,
right.
and I think we should take note.
It's like it was SUB FY 2021-0009.
Mhm. That's it.
Yes. Okay, so we need to correct the minutes.
Yes.
Okay,
And then, Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve the consent agenda to include the amended minutes.
Second.
got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll now go to special business, item F. First item on our agenda is to confirm an appointment that I'm offering to the council for Star Shepherd. Star is right here in the front row. If you confirm her, I'll have her come up and you can shake her hand. If you reject her, she'll just leave quietly. So the matters before the council.
Mr. Mayor, I move to confirm your appointment of Star Shepherd to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a 3-year term.
I would second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, would clerk call the roll?
Councilmember Heller,
Yes.
Councilmember Jacobs,
Yes.
Councilmember Jorgensen.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. You are confirmed. Member Russ Heller, congratulations. Not you, however, when I vote for you.
Thanks again.
Yeah, welcome to the team.
Thank you. Welcome, thank you.
And head shopping whenever you feel like it. Got a prom coming up. They've got business to do. So
That's important.
important stuff. You bet. All right.
Thanks for
Thank
coming.
you. Bye. Hey, item F2. This is an extension request for Proletariat Winery, 106 East 36th Street. Is there anyone here to represent Proletariat Winery? Yes, sir. If you would come up. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. If you would give us your name and address for the record.
You bet. Chad Slister, Ugrin Architecture, 415 South 13th Street, representing the Baggerleys and the ownership of Proletariat. Mr. Mayor and council members, we've been we've extended a few times. Last time we were here, we were trying to get a longer extension, which was going to be, I believe, approved at the time. However, the city code only allows 60 days at a time. So it's 60 days later, we're back again to make another request. Things have been moving forward. However, last time we were waiting for an appraisal, which we received. Now with the construction numbers all over the board, we're trying to figure out how to make it actually feasible for the ownership to actually start construction. So the permit's ready. I think we're getting close. I've got to come back to the DR group here at the city just to run a couple items by, see if it needs to go back through the full process, or if we can work through just with staff on some adjustments, which I think we can get through most of that. And then there'll be repricing again with ESI and moving forward if we can get another extension.
So good, thank you. Are there any questions, council?
Do you feel 60 days is going to do the same question we had last time?
Yeah,
You know, given interest rates and things like
Things
that,
are-
or are we going to do it this again in 60 days?
it's going to be on my schedule, but hopefully not.
Okay.
I think it's getting closer. It's kind of a, I think we're at the point where they either need to move forward as is, or we'll just redesign and do something smaller.
Okay.
But we might be back in 60 days if we're really close.
Well, hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not. I'd like to pull the permit and get going, as would they.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure of the council.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I find there's good cause to extend the grant the request for this extension on this building permit.
Second.
had a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Item F3, another extension request for Glass Island View subdivision.
Thank you.
You bet. Welcome, Bob.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, my name is Bob Taunton. My address is 2724 South Palmetier Way in Boise. I'm here representing the owners of the River Club. And we have a request to have a further extension of the preliminary plat for the Glass Island View subdivision. And the reason for the extension last year and for this year, it's the same. It's the inability to, on the part of FEMA, to be able to conduct the analysis that they need to do and issue a letter of determination to do a letter of map revision. Our proposal is to adjust the floodway line on the subdivision site, which currently goes through the buildable lots. It also currently goes through 3 houses that are downstream from us. So working with Quadrant, our engineering consultant, they worked with a third-party reviewer that FEMA contracts with. It's a national engineering firm called Stantec. And finally, last November, let's just step back. We did apply prior to the last extension request that we had in June of last year. We'd applied in April, so really a year ago. And finally, in November, the reviewer signed off on the application. There's quite a bit of hydraulic modeling that takes place. And we assumed that in short order, we would receive a letter of determination from FEMA. We are not there yet. In talking with the reviewer, he indicated that we would probably see that a scanned copy of it this week and a letter in the mail next week. So I assume it's a certified letter of some sort. But clearly we've run out of time to be able to construct the subdivision improvements and be able to go through the county's final plat recording process, which takes roughly about 3 months. So we do need another extension, and we proposed a 12-month extension. I'd like to think it's going to be shorter than that, but at this point, I'm not willing to put any money on when FEMA is going to actually produce the letter of determination and so on. But we are set up with a contractor, McIlvain, will be doing the work. We're about to order pipe once we get this letter of determination. And we're, essentially ready to go. We have approved plans from the city, approved plans from ACHD. We also have an approved final plat. So everything's in place. It's just we're missing the determination letter from FEMA. So that's the reason for requesting a second extension. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, Bob?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I do. Mr. Taunton, I want to be clear, have communications already taken place with the other neighbors impacted by the flood?
Yes, Councilman Jorgensen, thank you for asking that. Yes, once we had the initial confirmation of the model from the reviewer last November, we had the consultant sent out certified letters to 9 property owners that are within the reach of the river that we were looking at, studying. So there were 4 downstream residents and 5 upstreams. We sent them a certified letter explaining what was happening. We included a map that basically was the before and after, and never had a response, a question from any of the landowners. At one point I checked with Jenna, and Jenna had not heard anything either. Someone contacting the city for more information. So we've done the communication we're required to do. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, what's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we grant the extension mainly based, it seems that they're at the mercy of the FEMA bureaucracy of no fault of their own. And they're ready to go, but the FEMA bureaucracy is really just what's slowing them down. And so I move that we approve the extension.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the extension. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And are there any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Bob.
Good luck.
Next item, item G1. This is a resolution. I needed to appoint an alternate for me for Valley Regional Transit in the event that I can't attend a meeting, and Jenna drew the short straw. So
Is that literally how it happened?
yeah. Actually, she's best equipped to deal with that because she is kind of in the mix of all that stuff. So, but we have to have a resolution that I can give to the Valley Regional Transit staff to authorize Jenna to vote if I'm not available. So my request is that you approve resolution 1118-22.
I so move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Jacobs,
Yes.
Councilmember Jorgensen,
Yes.
Councilmember Heller.
Yes.
Okay, next item, item G2. This is another resolution, 1119-22, amending the business licensing fee schedule and the development services fee schedule. This is in your packet.
Mr. Mayor, I
Yes.
can give just a quick reasoning for this change. We're actually just moving the park reservation fees. They were kind of embedded in the development services fee schedule. And we recently had some requests for park reservations and wanted to make some modifications. We are going to eliminate some of the fees. We found that really we only have 2 parks that have the capacity to be reserved, and that's Heron Park and the Pam Beaumont Riverfront Park. And because of the size, we're no longer going to allow large jump houses. We rarely get reservation requests, but we have had a couple. So we're moving those fees from the development services fee schedule under the city clerk's fee schedule. So they're just not so deeply embedded, and we can keep an eye on those. So that was the reason for this change.
Okay.
So none of the other fees changed.
Correct. None of the other
Just
fees,
that.
just, yeah, the fees in red were added to the city clerk licensing schedule and deleted from the development services fee schedule.
Thank you for explaining that.
Any other questions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I know that we have had in the past some questions regarding our fee schedule. Since we're in the process of updating this, did we do a market comparison? Are we competitive to other cities that we're surrounded by?
For park reservations or all?
I think it's a good opportunity to at least do a gut check on all.
Yeah, Councilmember Jorgensen, I agree. And that's, I know Jenna's working on gathering her permit history, permit revenues, and we will use that information to look at the fee schedule and really where it is a cost of service business for the development services. We will use that information as we move forward through the budget process to look at these fee schedules.
Thank you very much.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, the matter is properly before you. What's the pleasure of the council?
I move that we approve resolution 1119-22.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Jorgensen,
Yes.
Councilmember Heller,
Yes.
Councilmember Jacobs.
Yes.
Thank you. Item G3 is the third reading of ordinance 1023-22. I think we're all pretty familiar with this by now. When the motion is made to read it for the third time, be sure to request the motion should include to waive the requirement to read it in its entirety, or we'll be here for breakfast.
I'm trying to find it. Which page, what page is that on?
It's on the agenda on,
Oh, yeah, that would
Yeah.
be a faster way.
yeah. Be the third reading for ordinance 1023-22. And the motion should include waiving the requirement to read it in its entirety and read it by title only.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would move that we move forward with the third reading of ordinance 1023-22 by title only.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, clerk call roll.
Councilmember Heller,
Yes.
Councilmember Jacobs,
Yes.
Councilmember Jorgensen.
Yes.
Third reading ordinance 1023-22, an ordinance of the city of Garden City, a municipal corporation of the state of Idaho, amending Garden City Code Title IV, Public Health and Safety, Chapter 14, Stormwater Management and Discharge Control, Section 2, Purpose and Intent, Section 3, Definitions, Section 5, Discharge of Pollutants, Section 6, Compliance with BPMS, Section 7, Notification of Spills, Section 9, Illicit Connections, Section 10, Reduction of Pollutants in Stormwater, Section 11, Parking Lots and Similar Structures, Section 12, Outdoor Storage Areas, Commercial and Industrial Facilities, Section 13, Construction Sites, Section 14, New Development and Redevelopment, Section 16, Authority to Inspect, by amending the language to include protections for waters of the state or U.S. in storm drain regulation provisions, providing severability, repealing conflicting city code provisions, approving a summary of the ordinance, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. This is the third reading. We need the subsequent motion to adopt and publish this ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, I
Yes.
would move that we, sorry, I'm losing my voice, that we adopt and publish ordinance 1023-22.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, the clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Jacobs,
Yes.
Councilmember Jorgensen,
Yes.
Councilmember Heller.
Yes.
Thank you. That concludes the public portion of our meeting, at least temporarily, while we go into executive session, after which we need to reconvene. We need to move into executive session to discuss our ongoing lawsuit with the Ada County Highway District. So someone can make that motion simply by reading that paragraph.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
In accordance with Idaho Code 74-206, to communicate with legal counsel for the public agency to discuss the legal ramifications of and legal options for pending litigation or controversies not yet being litigated but eminently likely to be litigated, after which the regular city council meeting will reconvene for potential action.
Need a second. Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, the clerk call roll.
Councilmember Jorgensen,
Yes.
Councilmember Heller,
Yes.
Councilmember Jacobs.
Yes.
Thank you. For those of you joining us remotely, we will be offline for a few minutes and we will reconvene when we conclude our business and executive session. Great, thank you. We'll call the meeting back to order at 6:42. And council, I'd entertain an action.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we move forward with the legal advice as presented by council on the matter regarding the ACHD lawsuit.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, the clerk call roll.
Councilmember Heller,
Yes.
Councilmember Jacobs.
Yes.
Councilmember Jorgensen.
Yes.
Thank you. Last item on our agenda is motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, I would
Yes.
move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We stand adjourned.